Thank you, Senor Davis. All right, back in the lounge as promised. A fan favorite, special guest, the first guest in our new studio, Marvin.
Exactly.
Deron Carrington, welcome to the set, Deron.
First of all, gentlemen, I would like to say thank you for having me here today. I know it was a crazy victory that we pulled out. I look forward to discussing all things sports with you gentlemen today.
This victory is talking about, for those who don't know, Deron over here, diehard Dallas Cowboys fan. Our residential co-host here, Marvin Banks, diehard Green Bay Packer fan. Divisional round coming up. We have Ice Bowl Part 2. The Cowboys take their 8-0 record up to Lambeau Field where the Pack are 8-0. Something's got to give. I mean, let's start with Deron as our guest. Thoughts on the game? What kind of matchups? Who has the upper hand when it comes to the matchup and the position players?
Thank you, Ty. I think the first thing that we need to look at for the game on Sunday is the running game. I mean, when you have to lead with the league's leading rusher at over 1,800 yards this year, that front, while it's a good front in Green Bay, does not pose the same threats that Detroit does at all with the run game. Mark Ingram rushed for 172 yards, which I do believe is a career high on a Sunday night. Fred Jackson rushed for 75. Reggie Bush had a sighting of 61 this year. Things that can help out a lot. I think that's a big matchup that we need to look at.
Good points, Grant. I do know for sure at least two of those matchups were on the road where the Packers are a different team. Marv, your X factors for the Pack.
Well, of course, when you talk about X factors, you have to go with your 2014 MVP Aaron Rodgers as your X factor. But
don't do this.
Everybody's saying that, yes, the X factor is maybe the wide receivers against the Cowboys secondary, but I'm going to have to piggyback off of what Deron said. It's definitely going to have to be the running game of Green Bay. When you can get Eddie Lacy going against that front seven of Dallas, I think they can pose a lot of problems and a lot of things to them. Eddie Lacy is having a real great year, another good back-to-back year, over 1,000 yards rushing back-to-back years for the Green Bay Packers. So I think that even though Dallas is the best offensive line of football, hands down, Green Bay still does have a top 10 offensive line. I still think they can impose their will amongst the Dallas front. So I think Green Bay offensive line.
All right. Now, he mentioned the O-line. He also mentioned the MVP debate, which we're not going to get into. Could you please, for a second, I mean, does Romo have any stake in this MVP debate? And if so, would you choose him over Aaron Rodgers?
I do feel that Tony Romo does have a stake in the MVP race. However, what we didn't touch on would be DeMarco overtaking both of those in the MVP race.
All right.
A man that rushed for 1,800 yards, a man that gives that offense balance so Tony isn't asked to do so much. When Tony's asked to do a lot more, he's prone to make more mistakes. And when he makes more mistakes, we are not a better team. DeMarco finally gave us the balance, I guess to say, of the glory years when we did win 5 Super Bowls, like Tony Dorsett's of the world, the Emmitt Smiths of the world, gave us that balance to win. So I would say that DeMarco over both of those is the MVP.
38-5.
So sick of this stat.
38 touchdowns to 5 picks. Even though Mr. Romo has a better QBR, Aaron Rodgers still threw for more yards. And he has more, I would say, more quality wins than what DeMarco or Tony Romo has. Even though they did go up to Seattle and beat Seattle, which is a very quality win. Have to give props to them. But the comeback win over Miami Dolphins, the win over Tom Brady, also the blowout fashions that he has been destroying teams at home, I would definitely see the edge go to Aaron Rodgers and the boys. So that's how come I would go with my MVP being Aaron Rodgers. They're moving forward.
Thanks. All right, let's cut to the chase. Deron.
Yes.
Who wins this game? And who's the player that tips the scale?
Obviously, I'm going to go where the bread is buttered at. We're going to go with Dallas, and we're going to go with that offensive line. Dallas wins 34-27. We control the rock. Time of possession. If you look at the losses that Green Bay has had, they've lost every game in time of possession. They've lost to backs like Marshawn Lynch. Okay, beast mode. He is beast mode. But Murray did rush for over 1,800 yards. That's what we're going at. It's going to be the battle up front. And you got to keep one more eye out for Clay Matthews, who's lined up inside. You've taken your best pass rusher, and you've now lined him up inside. How is that going to affect things?
All right, Marv, tell us who wins and why.
Well, that's easy how Clay Matthews can have a straight line straight to the quarterback. We've seen what Tony Romo did when he had a little pressure. He was falling like a cactus heat in the desert sun. So we're going to make sure that Aaron Rodgers is going to continue to win. I think Green Bay is going to win this game 31-21 because they have continued to jump ahead on teams. They have continued to dominate right in the first half, get on top of teams and making sure that, hey, we're going to alleviate this run game. We're going to go out here. We're going to put the hammer on right away. 31-21. Alleviate DeMarco Murray, and what Green Bay fans would love to see. Come on, Tony Romo. Come on, Tony Romo. Come up to Lambeau. Come on up to Lambeau.
I think